Hello all, welcome to our Zoid Rush video. I'm your host Tmzoids, also known as Tony, and today we're going to be talking about League of Legends. Now, first things first, I just wanted to say I know this video seems a little late. This is for two reasons. One, I originally made this video, and I didn't really like it. I rewatched it and I was like, yikes, holy guacamole, this is bad. It doesn't make sense, it's not coherent in my opinion. And I didn't express what I wanted to express. And secondly, it was just outdated when I watched it too. There are a few updates that Riot Games has already said that they're talking about and about changing, and already have changed one way or another. So I was like, oh, okay, well, my video is kind of outdated anyway. It was my first initial reactions to the whole preseason League of Legends new season, which it still is. This video is still about League of Legends. It's just a little bit more in depth and hopefully more coherent than the last one, even though I'm already stumbling over my words. But anyway, let's get right into it. So I did plan on making two videos about this, but then I realized that one or two of the content would not be enough content for one video in my opinion, so I'm just smashing it all together. So first things first, talking about the preseason. Pretty much, it's always that weird like limbo. It's like, oh, what's gonna change? These changes are coming. You play ranked and everybody's kind of like cool, calm, and collective. It's like, oh, it's okay, no big deal. It doesn't matter anyway. But then you find one or two people that are like, you quit this game. What do you call yourself, ADC? You should just uninstall. And you're just like, oh, well, this is the league I remember. This is League of Legends I remember. One thing that really confused me, and I didn't even know about, because I'm on and off with League now, I'm not constantly playing. I didn't know they added another divisional rank, and I was like, what is an iron? There are people that are actually iron. I thought people were trolling at first. And then I realized that I'm like getting queued with iron people, which even frustrated me more in ranked. And why does that frustrate me is because I was like high silver, and from what I remember of ranked, it was always supposed to be like you're never supposed to be really cute with somebody that's like more than one tier higher than you and one tier lower than you. So I can understand like a bronze 1, bronze 2, but an iron 1, I'm like, what are you doing? And you can tell the total difference. I'm not trying to pick on these people, but there is a definitely skill gap difference between like the people that are actually supposed to be an iron and the people that are not supposed to be an iron. So that you have that. But anyway, going on to the preseason, first things first, I liked how Riot was very transformative. They've always been transformative, but it seems like when they're too transformative or they say stuff and then the community calls them out later on down the season or even down like several years later, they're like, oh, we're still waiting for this, by the way. They're like, oh, we did say that, huh? So I do like how Riot's always been transformative and tries their best, even though it bites them in the butt sometimes, with some of their content and some of the things they want to release. But I liked how they did the preseason this year. It was like little mini videos, very short, sweet, to the point, about each individual topic. Did they all need to be their own individual topic? Probably not. The first things I'm going to focus on is the Riot comics with Marvel. I mean, that's exciting. It's great. Hopefully they produce more comics with Marvel and longer, better comics, that is. And I don't think they needed Marvel's help really. I think Riot Games themselves has made beautiful pieces when it comes to artwork, and their storytelling wasn't that bad. I just think they needed the manpower. So when it comes to this, I feel like manpower is the big thing here, and they'll end up pretty much like doing a better job, doing more extensive stories, kind of what they covered in the videos, and pretty much just focusing more. I think they're going to be more on the quality than quantity this time, so that's going to be always nice to see. I personally was never like a big lore reader or big into the reading. I think the only one that I followed the story wise was Varus, and that one was just like, it was mind blowing. I'm like, oh, my favorite champ, why do you do this? So that being said, the ne's thing that they talked about is skins. This one was kind of interesting. I was surprised they put this in here actually as their own individual videos, like skins and reworks to champions. Their big thing was Morgan Kale, and I think this was just a way to rework Kale and try and redo her kit a little bit because they're not happy with it. And I have two opinions about that. One, I feel like there's champions that you should just not touch. I'm not saying Kale was one of them, but one of those champions where you just need basic champions. You just need those champions that are point and click. You need the champions that just do two abilities and that's it. That's just League of Legends. Are they ever going to be in the meta? Probably not. Maybe at one point. But the way they redid Kale, which is fine. One thing I just don't understand is they're like big into those like circle ults now, and when I say that, it's like you could see this with Nico, and they did the similar thing with Kale now. Is like they get this big circle ult, and then with Nico you jump up and then do tons of damage. Once you drop down, you get a shield. Whereas Kale's is like you automatically get the shield, and then swords fall down once the ult's done. It's just like what's with these like AOE circular alts all of a sudden, just whatever. I was kind of disappointed because I thought they were going to redo Morg a little bit, but they only really tweaked her alt, which I'm not mad about, by the way. I'm just saying, like, I thought they were going to do more with Morg than just do a visual update and then tweak her alt so it's a little bit more rewarding endgame. Keep in mind, I haven't played these champions, but I have not seen a Kale in any of the games that I've played, ranked games that I've played, and I haven't seen a Morgana either played, so I don't know how either champion is doing. I haven't looked up the stats for the video because that's not the main part of this video. Also, other skins and stats that they do, hopefully they keep up with their promise. I know they have like a website where they kind of put champions on there that they want to focus and rework or visually update or completely redo, but keeping their bases, so we'll see how that goes. I mean, it was good. I understand that. Esports video, not a big deal. It's like, oh, esports, hey, hello. But anyway, the big topic that I wanted to talk about is, of course, ranked. They always like to tweak and change things in the game and or ranked for some odd reason, as we've already talked about. They added an Iron season or Iron division once, and then you had Challenger and Master, and then in the Challengers get a coat and the rank rewards and this and that, and you get a banner and an icon. Now this year their big thing is like the banner. You get a banner, your banner updates, and it will follow you throughout. You can see your progress from here to there. And I'm just like, okay, nothing really too new here. I guess I get a crown now on top of my head if I'm like silver 1, or if not, I get the wings taken away or something to that extent. It's all kind of not a big deal, in my opinion. One thing, 2 or 3 things that I wanted to talk about ranked. First, let's talk about the provisional games. The provisional games to see where you were placed. This was interesting. I really liked how Riot did it this year, actually, compared to other years. First, they knocked it down. It used to be 10 games. Now it's only 7 games that you have to play, which is really cool, because we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But the biggest thing is that they were very transformative in your ranked, and I like this more than any other year. It just made sense. I don't know why they didn't do this sooner. It's like, okay, it's usually how it goes is like if you play a game, you're always placed one division lower than you were. So if I was silver, I'd be bronze. If I was gold, I was silver. If I was plat, I would be gold, etc., etc. So it was cool this year that they were like, okay, we're going to give you 7 games, and then once you win a game, you kind of see where you're at. And of course, I was bronze 1 because I was silver 1, so I dropped 1 ranked or division lower than I was. And then, of course, you get to see yourself climb, and I actually ended up being silver 4. And I think this is like the first year that the rank system actually just made sense to me. It just felt like rewarding. It felt like, oh, I'm playing ranked, and I see that I'm like not bronze every year. Like I don't have to do that climb every year. Because I remember the prior years, and this is where the big 7 comes in, is like you were grinding out your 10 games, which were nerve-wracking as it was, because you're like, oh, where am I going to get it placed? But I recall like the first like several years of the 10, like it just didn't make sense. Like some years I would be like 7-3 out of the 10 games, and I would be like bronze 1. I'm like, okay, this makes no sense. And then the next year I'd be like 5-5, and I ended up silver 5 or something like that, And then, of course, again 4-6, and you're just like, I'm silver 4, and you're like, what is all of this? Like it didn't make sense to me, and I just liked how they were very transformative. And going into the preseason, it was really cool, and just playing ranked. Another big thing to the rank changing system that I want to talk about that has changed now, and this is the main part of the video that didn't make sense in my old video, is they did this rank now where it's like you can play all your different roles and get ranked in all your different roles. So if you want to play ADC, you can be ranked there. You can be silver 1, you can be silver 2. You could be silver 3, who knows, whatever you want to be. And then if you didn't like ADC, you could play other roles and then climb up in those roles, so you could have your main role still and then play with your other roles and climb and rank with that. So there's a few things that I want to talk about with this. I guess the big thing is the fundamentals with League. When it came to League of Legends, fundamentally, it was like, even Riot employees and pro players will tell you this, is like we were always ingrained, or I was always always taught kind of like how to play League, and this is not a proper way to play League, but a way to be successful in League and a way to climb in League is focus on one role. Find the role you like, and then after you find that role, you end up playing like 2 to 3 different champions in that role and be successful at those champions and climb with those. And then when you climb, then you can branch off, and when you learn more about the game, you can learn more about the champion or other champions and other roles. Now, Riot employees, this is just the formula of Riot. And I'm not saying this is like a patent formula of Riot, but it's always been this way. You know, you find a role you like, you play with it, and then you stick with that, and you play the champions you like. And you just always seen success with this. Success stories. It's like, oh, you've always had the one-trick ponies, which is like Antibot, or somebody who played 1,500 games of Fiddlesticks, and now they're master, and you're like, oh, anything's possible, da-da-da. Now, of course, that comes into your skill gap, too. Like, you have to also be very successful when it comes to playing the game and not just mastering a champ. You have to at least know the game mechanics higher and higher. So if you're getting into Masters and Diamond, of course you're going to have a higher skill gap than somebody that's at Silver. That's pretty self-explanatory. But that being said, like I said, this formula has always been ingrained in us. It's always kind of been taught that way. And for Riot to have all these different roles, it just seems kind of weird. But I understand, which we're going to get into a little bit more here. So Riot wants you to play their game more. They want you to experience the game more. And let me be honest, I'll be honest, is that I get bored. And this is why I probably am not successful in League, is because I get bored grinding out the same champions. People are like, oh, this guy's strong, or this guy's strong, play him. And then I'll play him for a little bit, and I just can't continually play the same champion over and over and over again. I know I have a lot of league points on a certain champion. You're like, wow, you do play this champion a lot. But in reality, it's like, I just want to play a champion that's fun. That's why I really liked Varus. Varus was a very versatile champion. He was not very mobile, but he was very versatile. When I say that, you know, he had his Q that had skill shot. You could play him as an auto attack, Varus. And then, of course, his abilities played off his auto attack, so you had that. Well-placed ults also play a role. Like, you could play it to get it away, you know, play for defense, or you could play for offense. It all played a role, in my opinion. I really liked Varus's kit. His E and everything, just the way it reduced healing and everything. Just the little things that you knew about Varus and the way he played. It's just, like I said, it wasn't for me, you know, when it comes to that stuff. So this would be more catering for me, I guess, in a way. But I didn't play other roles like that. If I played other champions, it would be in the specific role I wanted to play. For example, if I was playing ADC, like I said, if I was getting bored of Varus, I would just play Lucian or Jinx or somebody else that I was like, oh, I haven't played them in a while, or I'm having fun with them right now. Also, on top of that, it just encouraged bad behavior and this poor excuse behavior that, I don't know, Riot kind of caters to in one way or another. I'm not saying Riot, but Riot players, I guess, like to cater to. It's always like, oh, well, this isn't my main role, or I got auto-filled here. And you're just like, okay. But that doesn't mean you should not know how this champion works. If you're going to play a champion, you don't even have to play. There's always like one champion in one specific role that's not really skill-based. For example, you could play Sona. Or not even Sona. You could play Lux. Or you could play Lulu. And you're probably like, well, Lulu's kind of skill-based. You got to hit the Q. Just max the shield. Or play Nami. You don't even have to hit a bubble. All you have to do is heal and press E on me. And then throw an ult. If the ult doesn't hit him, which it should. If you threw an E on me and I hit him, and then you threw your ult, there should be no reason you miss. But it encourages bad behavior because it's like, oh, this isn't my main role. I'm silver 1 in this. I'm usually gold 3 with ADC. And you're like, really? Really? Now, the one thing that not to pick on Riot completely here, Riot did do a good job with doing the like point system with all this. Now when I say this is like you played your main role, and if you unlocked your other provisional roles with through ranked with other roles like support and top lane, and I was a main ADC, I would get points for top lane and support every game that I won. So that was nice. You can climb ranks with your own personal like skill level with your main role too. So that was really nice. That's one thing that was really cool. On top of that too, you also had on top of that too, you also had this new ranking system with what do I call it? The battle royale kind of ranking system now, battle pass system. What I would say, League has added to the rank system. It's like, oh, the more games you play, the more rewards you'll get while you play ranked. So if you win in ranked, you get more rewards. You'll get an icon. You get this ward or this or that. And I'm just like, really, Riot? You really went down this. It's a successful thing, and it's just adapted in many games now for some odd reason. It's doing really well. Of course, it's free for Riot. You know, you play ranked and you get these rewards for free, whereas in, you know, Fortnite or Apex, you have the battle passes that you have to buy, and then you have to play so much, which is also nothing. I'll never get those in League because I don't play League as much. So, overall, the ranking system, like I said, is fine because they're removing the dual ranking system, the dual ranks and all this, and they're removing it. They heard the feedback. So, you know, with all the poor excuses and all the trolling that probably happened, they are removing it. Now, that being said, once Classic Riot always likes to implement things, that does not mean it's gone. So, because people think, oh my god, yes, it's fine, they listen to us and it's gone, oh my god, oh my god. No, that does not mean it's gone. That just means they're just going to rework it and probably implement it in a different way or a different system down the line. That was kind of like how they did it with the pick your role system. Everybody in the draft mode where you could pick your role. People probably don't even remember this anymore. But back in the day, ranked was like you had to like type really quick, like I want ADC, and type really quick and be the first one to say it, and then you got it for some odd reason. And Riot wanted to implement the pick your role system, and people were like, they're just, you know how people are. They don't like change. Everybody is like, no, we don't want it. And some people are like, it's fine. It's not a big deal, blah, blah, blah. And now it's like implemented in the rank system, and it's just like a normal thing. And it's so much easier, in my opinion, now, thinking about it. Because I was probably one of those people who was like, God, this is awful. Why do we even have this system? And like everything else. So I'm sure Riot will re-implement it some way or some variation of it once they rework it or try and think of a better way to do that. So that all being said, the last thing I wanted to focus on, and kind of something that I found weird, is that Riot's like 10 years old, and every video that they posted is ended with "Welcome to Season 2019." Season 2019. And you're like, what? Season 2019? What? You're 10 years old. Just say Season 9 or Season 10. It's it. That's it. Why? What's Season 2019? And now, at first, it didn't bug me because I was like, it was January, so I was like, Season 2019. Yeah! Ah! Yeah, I'm like, I'm pumped up. I'm ready to play ranked, and I'm like, I'm gonna climb Season 2019. And then I was like, okay, this is good. And then every video that I watch now, that was like telling them what they would do. Welcome to season. Having fun in Season 2019. You're like, it's hitting April now. Season 2019. Huh. Now keep in mind, League of Legends is not 10 years old till October, sometime in October. So you have to keep that in mind. They're not 10 yet. But it was just like the way they presented it this year. Like, why couldn't they just say the regular season, like Season 20? Like, what does the new year have to do anything with the season? It's just kind of weird in my opinion. Anyway, that is it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm gonna make another League of Legends related video, which is more of like an opinion piece again about a specific person that was in the league scene. So that'll be down the line. I hope you all enjoy. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. if you enjoy my videos and content, and follow me on my socials down below. Anyways, until next time, guys, bye.
Let's get into it. In season 2019, our big projects are focused mostly.
So here's what's happening in season 2019.
From all of us working on League, welcome to season 2019.